All right, admins, now we're going to cover how to set up SSO for your workspace. I'll show you where to configure it in Hive, where you can find our supporting documentation, and answer some frequently asked questions about setting up SSO. To get started with this, you need to have the following steps ready. First, if you are setting up the SSO connection, you need to be an admin in the Hive workspace. Here's how you can tell if you're an admin. If you do not have a Hive account, ask to be invited by the person who asked you to set up the SSO. And if you're only a member, ask the admins to make you an admin. Here's where you can see who your workspace admins are. Great, so the second item is you will need to see the Authentication tab in Workspace Settings. This is only visible to admins, so make sure that step 1 is taken care of. Here's how you can check this. If you don't see this tab, and you are an admin, and your team has purchased the security add-on, please send a message to help@hive.com with your Workspace ID, or contact our support team through the blue question mark, and we'll turn that on for you. If you have both of the above, then you're ready to get started. Let's keep moving. So we thought of you when we documented the step-by-step process for configuring SSO, and I want to show you where that documentation lives. You'll find this in our Help Center, located at help.hive.com. Head to the Technical Resources section. We'll provide direct links to all of these in the resources of this lesson. As you can see, we support G Suite SAML SSO, and you can find the article on this here. The specific help article in the G Suite site will guide you through this setup. Next, we have Adfs, which you can find the guide for here. As you can see, first you start by setting up the instance in Adfs for Hive. This article spells out the specific values that must be mapped between the two systems. Finally, for setting up Okta, there is a guide created that walks through this. This page is maintained by Okta and published so that you may follow their detailed steps. All of the details you need to enter and swap with the identity provider are on the Authentication tab, including the ACS URL, Workspace ID, and the place to paste the certificate and your SAML SSO URL. To force the users who are members of your workspace to sign in with the SSO, select this option to force SSO. To test if you have set up SSO correctly, open an incognito browser and go to app.hive.com. In the email field, enter your email address. If you see the Sign In with SSO button appear, you have configured it correctly. If you click it and it takes you to log in through your identity provider, this is exactly correct. What about SSO for external users? So once you have SSO enabled, your external users may log in with email address and password if they are not part of your domain users that are in your identity provider. If external users have the same domain as you, and you have forced SSO for domain users, then they will have to log in with your identity provider. Next, you're wondering if we support SSO on mobile. We do support sign-in with SSO on mobile, as configured on this tab. You must start by typing your email address into the email field, then the Sign In with SSO button will show exactly like on a browser. A common question is if users can be removed or deprovisioned from Hive via SSO. Currently, we do not support this. Sometimes it's called skim provisioning. Can you ensure that anyone from your company, even if they do not have a Hive account, is logging in with SSO? Yes, if you would like anyone who comes to the Hive sign-in screen with your email domain to be shown your Sign-In with SSO button that takes them to your identity provider, just add your domain here on the Authentication tab. If they are provisioned to the Hive app in your identity provider, then they will be put into your company's workspace once they authenticate. You can also do this from the identity provider side, say publishing the Hive app in your Okta or company portal, so that anyone at your company can log into Hive by starting with the identity provider initiated flow. If you need assistance, we're here to help. We just ask if you're following one of our selected guides, you can identify which step you're on that you have a question about. Thank you for joining this lesson on setting up SSO. All of the links we reviewed will be provided in the resources for this lesson.